Hi, I'm Misty Velasky, and this is Ojai Valley News in Depth. Joining me today is Rae Hanstad, former mayor for the city of Ojai, council member for the city of Ojai, and a Safe Coalition member. Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So you're no longer with the city council, but you were there for many years. So tell us, how long did you serve, and do you miss it?
Well, I served on the council for 2 terms, 8 years, and I missed it a lot at first. I still miss the people, but I love being a private citizen. So it was a mixed blessing.
Mm-hmm. And what is your opinion on the current state of affairs over there at City Hall?
It's very easy to have an opinion if you're not sitting at the dais. I know that. And it's easy to try to second guess the council members and why they're making the decisions they're making. So I think they're doing a wonderful job, and I know how hard they're working. So my opinion is that there are ups and downs, and they'll handle it, and the city will always land on its feet.
Got a good group of people around here.
Very good group.
And what are you doing these days?
Well, starting when I was on the city council, I became involved with the Safe Coalition back in '03, and that work has continued, as well as it has parlayed into some consulting work for the county of Ventura. So I've still been involved in local government, but mostly with prevention of underage and binge drinking, as well as drug abuse prevention.
Mm-hmm. And of course, a lot of that is through the Safe Coalition. So tell us a little bit about the Safe Coalition, what it is it being effective, how long has it been around?
The Safe Coalition has been around since about '03. The acronym stands for Substance Abuse Free Environment Coalition, which was the goal of the coalition when it began. It was started at a time in Ojai where there had been a few tragic overdoses, as well as several non-fatal overdoses, up to 2 to 3 a month being reported. And then Captain Gary Pentis and Karen Bosson, the city manager, and other stakeholders in the city of Ojai got together to try to find a way to reduce what we perceived as being a drug problem. But thanks to research from the county of Ventura, from behavioral health, we discovered that the #1 drug of choice in Ojai was actually alcohol, and very often the alcohol was used in combination with prescription drugs, and so at the core was alcohol, and that became the first mission of the Safe Coalition, to reduce underage and binge drinking, and by association hope to reduce drug use as well. The Safe Coalition is still going strong. Supervisor Bennett's office has always been involved and still is, as well as members of the school district, Captain Dunn, and they're still meeting every other month, and they're still working hard to address these problems.
Now, one of the big things that you folks were able to accomplish was the Social Host Ordinance here in Ojai. So tell us a little bit about that and some of the current events that that's provoking.
Well, the Social Host Ordinance was not a knee-jerk reaction to teen parties or teen drinking. It really was an effort, again, to reduce drinking and drug use, and it was discovered through research, again from the county, that most underage drinking and subsequent drug use was taking place in the home. And the ordinance was an attempt to make parents accountable, make sure they were on the scene and that they weren't leaving town and in their absence having a lot of binge drinking occurring. At the time, before the ordinance, there were actually repeat offenses. There would be the annual party where there would be high levels of alcohol poisoning and drug use. And so that was where the ordinance began, was trying to change that environment.
Sure.
So.
And at this point, there are we're coming up on the school year coming to an end. So there's a lot more concern of these parties coming up, especially with graduations. So tell me, what are you folks doing, both at the county level and at the city level, to make people aware that this is something that they need to be paying attention to?
Well, the Safe Coalition is working, first of all, to try something new. We are going to have a billboard on Highway 33 to remind people about the Social Host Ordinance. We have been told that there are 85,000 views of a billboard per day on Highway 33, and so we're going to try to capitalize on that and see if we can remind people of the law, because the goal is not really to write the citations, it's to prevent the happening to begin with. Mm-hmm. So in addition to the billboard, the county has been sponsoring radio ads reminding people that it's the season for parties and proms and school breaks, etc. And again, the goal is to keep people informed, because they're not trying to catch kids in the act. They're just trying to keep the environment of teen parties safe. And I think that Captain Dunn would concur that the number of teen parties has decreased since the time that the ordinance was enacted.
It's great.
So it's worked very well.
Good news. Especially in small towns. I know that it's always a problem. You know, you're hearing that, oh, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to do.
Right. Well, in fact, back to the Social Host Ordinance, one of the key components was that Supervisor Bennett led the way for the Social Host Ordinance to also be enacted in the county area, because, well, there's an ordinance now in every city as well as the county, but in a place like Ojai, if you just had the ordinance right in the city limits, you can imagine that parties would just move to the East End or to Oakview, etc. Mm-hmm. So part of the efficacy is due to the fact that it was county-wide, and that there was also a great level of understanding amongst all the citizens. So.
And there's actually a fine of up to $2,500 should the police have to come out and find that underage drinking.
Well, it could go higher, but the initial fine is $1,000. And there can, if there are repeat offenses, be cost recovery. So, and I don't think that in Ojai they have an opportunity for a work program to work it off, but I know that there's an appeal process as well. I believe it's only been enforced twice in the last year, so that's a good sign.
Sure. And of course, with the summer coming up, how can folks let the community know and let the police know that there may be a loud party next to them where there could be underage drinking? Is there a phone number to call, a website to check out?
Well, all of this information can be found at the county website, venturacountylimits.org. But, of course, you're not going to check a website when you hear a party where you think there might be problematic drinking or drug use. So the number to call is the general police number, which is 646-1414, or whatever the number is after hours. And depending on the circumstances, they will send somebody out, and at the officer's discretion, they will determine whether or not it's appropriate to cite the parents or the owners of the house.
Okay. And something else you and I were discussing, of course, was the prescription drug drop-off. That all ties into this as well. Kids getting into the medicine cabinets and things like that. So tell us about that prescription drug drop-off bin.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's important to know that 1 in 5 teens have abused prescription drugs. And almost half the time they've gotten them free, and they've gotten them from friends or from their family medicine chest. So one of the approaches that's been important for the Sheriff's Department and for behavioral health is to try to get more security in the home regarding the medicine chest, and also to get rid of as many expired or unused drugs as possible. And to facilitate that, the Sheriff's Department has worked with behavioral health to put a prescription drug disposal bin in every police department in the county, including one in Ojai, and residents may drop off unused prescriptions at any time. It's confidential and anonymous. There's just a mailbox-like bin in the PD lobby, and they can get those drugs out of their home where teens can't get their hands on them, and also off the streets. So April 30th had been nationwide Take Back Prescription Drug Day. It was started by the DEA, and Ventura County participated fully, every city, including Ojai. Ojai had 2 drop spots, one at the PD and one in Oakview. And in that one day alone, they collected 40 pounds of unused prescription drugs.
Wow.
So that was very successful.
Quite a bit, especially with, a pill weighing so little.
That's right. So it was very successful. Again, more drugs off the street. Mm-hmm. So the billboard is going to, which starts May 30th for the Social Host Ordinance, will actually become, after the Social Host Ordinance, after 4 weeks, it will become a prescription drug abuse message board, and there will be a reminder to properly dispose of unused drugs.
Mm-hmm. And so, of course, for more information, folks can visit the Ventura County website. And what about the Safe Coalition website?
I don't know if the Safe Coalition website is still up and running. A lot of the information for Ojai is at the county website. There's a section for every city. And of course, for more information, somebody can always contact the police department. They're very interested in this program.
Great. Well, thank you very much for being here. We sure do appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I hope I brought a good message to the community.
Thank you very much. I'm Misty Velasky. This is Rae Hanstad. This has been Ojai Valley News In Depth.